What is going on, guys? It's the Inside the Blue Podcast, episode 72. Today we're breaking down the Giants in this draft, another mock draft here. This is our third one, and a lot of things, this Giants team needs to improve on. The offensive line needs to be improved. I think the quarterback can definitely be improved as well. I'm not sure the Giants are going to take him in the first round, but you never know what they do with the QB situation. Whether they stick with Daniel Jones. I think they're going to stick with Daniel Jones, but don't rule out a guy like Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr. Don't rule any of those guys out. But anyways, this is a big draft for this Giants team. I've said it time and time again of how important this draft is for this team because of the fact that they need weapons and they need better offensive linemen. You can never rule out upgrading the defense because, the Giants' defense is not particularly ranked well when it comes to allowing points, and they didn't get a defensive turnover, I think, until that game against the Dolphins, something like that. But let's enter this draft. Of course, 3 rounds, only doing the New York Giants. So let's enter the draft. So, yeah, we look at this draft, a lot of things have changed. Giants moved up to pick 6 ahead of the Jets. I believe last time they were picking behind the Jets, but I think in terms of schedule, that's why the Giants are ahead. The Chicago Bears have the number 1 overall pick still because the Panthers are the worst team in football. Patriots picking at 2, Cardinals at 3, Washington Commanders at 4, and the Bears again, then the Giants. And then followed by those other teams. But, we look at this squad and let's start the draft. Let's put it on a little slower, see how things go. But anyways, 3 rounds. Let's do this. So we look at the draft and let's see what happened in this draft. Caleb Williams going number 1 overall. Drake May going number 2. So I think in these drafts, pretty much all the mock drafts that we're going to see, these are probably Caleb Williams and Drake May. Those are probably, number 1 and number 2. Probably every draft. Malik Nabers going ahead of Marvin Harrison Jr. is definitely interesting. But to pair up Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. is really something special. Of course, the Giants, a lot of options here. They can go offensive line with Fashanu. They can go Romeo Doomsday. They can go Kool-Aid McKinstry. They can go a lot of different options here, but let's get this out of the way. Giants need a QB. We look at the QBs here. Jaden Daniels is a guy I think could pick for sure. I've taken offensive line a lot in these drafts. I kind of want to switch it up and take a QB, but I think if I'm the Giants here, you can go 1 or 2 options. You can take, Vashanu from Penn State for sure, or you can take Jaden Daniels, right? I think those are the 2 picks that I think the Giants can go to. But I think if I look, more down the board, I think more teams like the Raiders, I think the Falcons, you can even say, in my opinion, you could say the Saints. I think the Saints, I don't know if Derek Carr is really him. I don't think he's that good. I think those teams in particular can definitely take a guy like Jaden Daniels. But I think, with Fashanu here, it's really hard to pass up on him. So we're going to take Fashanu with our first pick. Brock Bowers going to the Jets. That is rather interesting. And then right there, Jaden Daniels going to the Raiders. Brian Thomas. So let's break down this first round real quick before we get to the Giants pick, of course. So we look at it here. Caleb Williams at number 1. Drake May at number 2, Malik Nabers, Joe Alt, Marvin Harrison Jr. We took Vashanu this time instead of Joe Alt. Brock Bowers heading to the Jets. Rome Odunze heading to the Chargers. Titans taking Kool-Aid McKinstry. Latu, that's really interesting. Them going edge there is crazy, in my opinion. They have other needs, I feel like. But listen, Latu's a good player, so I could see it. Newton going to the Packers. Jaden Daniels going to the Raiders. Chop Robinson going to the Saints. And those are the other picks as well. Bo Nix went to the Bucks. J.C. Latham, I think he's a good player. He goes to the... So a lot of tackles went off this board. Brian Thomas Jr. joining Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. That could be a really lethal duo. I could very well see that happening as well. Marius Mims going to the Texans. And then we look at the in-division. Kitchens going to the Eagles. Troy Franklin, another wide receiver, going to the Dallas Cowboys. And then Newman and McCountry going to the Niners and Ravens. And then Graham Barton, of course, the Panthers taking a cornerback from Georgia. Braswell going to the Cardinals. And then the two straight picks. Commanders taking Quentin Mitchell and Agbuka. I think that's how you say it, Mika Agbuka. I think if I butchered his name, I'm sorry. But a lot of options here for the Giants. They can go quarterback. They can go with Michael Penix Jr. They can go with they could take another tackle, but I don't see that happening. They can take a guy like Keon Coleman, right? They could take a guy like Mitchell, Carson Beck. A lot of options here for this Giants team. And listen, we just addressed the offensive line, which was a huge need with Fashanu. So he could play tackle, probably on the right side. If not, maybe they switch Thomas to the right side. Who knows? Michael Penix Jr. could be a good QB in this on this team. I think the problem is with him, though, is his injury history. He has had a decent number of injuries, and I think there's some other questions, but nonetheless, he's a very, very solid player coming out of Washington. Keon Coleman, of course, in my opinion, I think he's another player that can make a big, big difference for this Giants team. Giants have a number of wide receivers that are on a one-year deal. I think Sterling Shepard's on one, Paris Campbell, and I believe Darius Slayton as well. So definitely they might need a wide receiver. Why not Keon Coleman? This guy is not that bad. I think he's got good stats, in my opinion. 11 touchdowns this year, a lot more. He had four more this year, and I think he was good. I don't think he is a poor player. I think this is a guy that could really make an impact for this team. There's a lot of good tackles here. Troy Vitano, Jordan Morgan, Patrick Paul. A lot of good players in that category. But, they can go a number of different routes here. If they want to go Michael Penix Jr., do they want to go Keon Coleman? But I think for the sake of this video, I think the Giants like Daniel Jones a lot. And I don't know if they would take Michael Penix Jr. I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if they take him, because he's a solid player for sure. But there's a lot of good QBs in this class. A lot of different positions the Giants can go. But I think for the sake of the video, I think we're going to be taking Keon Coleman out of Florida State. I would definitely not be mad if they took Michael Penix Jr., but as he goes one selection behind us, so that's that. So now we head to the second pick in the second round. This is from the Seattle Seahawks. That would have been really nice if we would have got Michael Penix Jr., but no worries. There's definitely some players here that I do not mind. I don't think TJ Tampa is that bad. He had 2 interceptions this year, one of them for a touchdown. Yeah, there's a lot of players that we can definitely go here. But his team definitely could use offensive line. There's no doubt about it. They could go with a guy like Jackson Powers Johnson, who had a solid year, 0 sacks. That guy's a dog. Okay, I know he plays center, and I don't believe he took any other reps. So it looks like he took some reps in 20. He took mostly his reps in 2022. Were right guard. So you can maybe slot him in at right guard if you want to take him. But I think there are definitely some positions of need. For sure, Kalen King. Probably won't look at Kalen King. You could look at J.J. McCarthy if you want. There's a lot of different options the Giants can go to. But, the thing is with this class as well that separates it from a lot of other classes. In my opinion, it's a very like strong class at a lot of positions. But yeah, I mean definitely a lot of different routes they can go here, right? I think how I look at this team and what this team needs. We could even look at linebacker if we wanted to. Trotter Jr. is good, but I don't know if he's worth the second round pick. Could go offensive line again. Patrick Paul's been here for a while now. I feel like we've seen his name come up a lot. Not bad. I don't think he's bad at all. I think he could definitely look to draft Patrick Paul. But I believe, in my opinion, offensive line should be a need. I think that's just how I look at it. I think this team needs offensive line, and I think they should be investing a lot of their selections in offensive line. I think just with how I view it, and I think for this sake, I think we're gonna take, definitely not him. I thought it was actually decent. But, yeah, we've been spending a decent bit on this pick. But we're going to take Jackson Powers Johnson. Going to take him there with our pick. Why not? I feel like he is a solid player. And now we head to the third round where the Giants are about to select. All right. So, final pick of this draft. Only allowed to do 3 rounds of this draft because I'm not subscribed to PFF. A lot of options here. They can go Jonathan Brooks if they wanted to. Jonathan Brooks had a crazy year this year. I believe he's coming off an ACL tear. But he had an amazing year, right? This guy was rushed for over 1,000 yards. I mean, this guy did everything. He had, 200 plus receiving yards. Like, this guy did it all. You could even look at a guy like, Trotter. I think Trotter's a solid linebacker out of Clemson. You could look at a guy even like Brendan Rice if you really wanted to go with, another wide receiver. But there's definitely, I think these three are definitely in the conversation. Because we don't need another offensive lineman this early, I don't think. But if I had to, select out of all these guys, the one thing I do have though is taking a running back is if you draft a running back, does this mean Saquon Barkley is gone? Does that mean Saquon Barkley is completely gone and Jonathan Brooks is going to be your new running back? Or are you going to pair them together and you're going to give Saquon that 4-5 year extension, and that they're going to, be 1A and 1B, Saquon probably getting the majority of the carries. Kind of like what the, Detroit Lions do with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. I don't know if that's going to be something that the Giants look to. But, if I had to take a guess of what the Giants are going to take here, is they are going to be taking linebacker Jeremiah Trotter Jr. And that is going to be the draft. See where all these other players go. Johnny Wilson goes to the so yeah, Johnny Wilson went to the Bengals as well, so they get 2 wide receivers. Click out of that. So yeah, this is our board. I think we kind of reached. If I had to say this, I think we reached on Jackson Powers Johnson. Because PFF has them at 62 and we drafted them at 47. So that's probably the only pick where we could have probably taken someone else. But anyways, a solid draft in my opinion. Getting Vashanu at 6, Keon Coleman at the second rounder for our first second round pick, and then Jeremiah Trotter Jr. out of Clemson's a pretty damn good player. So I think this draft was cool. Definitely trying to switch it up a bit. Maybe we'll take quarterback next time. Gotta switch it up a bit because you never know what happens in these mock drafts, right? A lot of crazy stuff can happen in these drafts. We look at the full board here. So that is the full board of the first round. Just looking at some picks that I look at and I'm like kind of questioning. I think Brock Bowers at 7 is a questionable pick in my opinion. I don't know if I like the Jets taking a tight end. I think there's some other positions. But also you look at the board and then they don't get Vashanu or Joe Alt. So I guess they kind of shifted that way. Jaden Daniels going to the Raiders is a very good pick. J.C. Latham, I think, is a solid pick there. Brian Thomas Jr. is cool. Troy Franklin to the Cowboys is cool. Another wide receiver. But yeah, I think the biggest surprise was seeing Marvin Harrison drop to 5 and Malik Nabers going to 3. But hey, Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. That sounds like a pretty awesome duo in Chicago. I don't know if we'll ever see that, but if that's how this draft goes, I think that'd be a lethal duo. And I don't know what the future is with Justin Fields because I don't see the Bears just not drafting Caleb Williams. I just can't really see that. If they stay at number 1, it's 100% unanimous. Caleb Williams is probably a Bear, and if not, it's Drake May, which I wouldn't be surprised about if they took Drake May. But anyways, definitely gonna have some more mock drafts in the future. Giants need to, I guess, keep losing, because if they keep losing, maybe we'll be in a world where the Giants pick a little closer in the top 3. But anyways, season's pretty much over for the Giants. I mean, they have 3 games left, but there's a good chance to go 0-3. And this season was a roller coaster. This season has been pretty weird, 3-game winning streak that turns into a loss, and then their season's over. So, anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning into the mock draft. This was really fun to record. I really enjoy these. Definitely gonna be doing a lot more of these in the future. Gonna post out some new content for all the sports we cover, whether it's the Rangers, the Giants, or the Yankees. Gonna tune in, talk about them. Appreciate the support, of course, on the road to 100 subscribers. Appreciate you guys all for following the journey. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.